Welcome to your Reiki session. How are you doing today? Well, I really hope that by the end of our session today, you're feeling at least 10% better. Deal? Good. So, this session is all about ADHD. The focus for us is going to be on impulsivity and our impulse control. It's going to be on developing a mindfulness practice, presence. And with that, we'll be really encouraging focus. It's also going to be about releasing any shame. I think the most important thing that I'd like you to take away is that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. This is just something that you're moving through. This is just the way that you work, you operate, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. There are just ways that you can support yourself. So I'm just here to help facilitate that. Okay. I'm going to light a little bit of incense. We're going to start with just an initial clearing of the space. So I'd like for you just to take a few slow breaths and just arrive right here, right now. It's a beautiful hand-rolled incense. So I'm just going to begin with a little bit of clearing. So my friend, if there's anything from the day or the night that you'd like to clear, I offer that up to be transmuted here today and reused. Reusing that beautiful energy that goes into everything that we do and think. So whether you want to clear a pattern or a belief or a thought, it's all just energy, and we can recycle that energy and use it for something beneficial. So that's my call to you today. Sometimes it's as easy as just asking for something to be cleared, inviting awareness into our mental plane and saying, what is not serving me? And just even asking that question can sometimes be enough. Just inviting our awareness into maybe what we're doing or thinking or believing. And once we have that awareness, we can just start to release it naturally. Sometimes we need a little bit more energetic support. So we're using the clearing properties of the smoke to help clear anything that's not serving you. And sometimes we need just a little bit more space, more room to do some deeper healing. Okay, my love. Now I'm going to use the Selenite Wand. It's been charging in the sun and the moon. It's got some really nice energy going on. So I'm just going to do a little bit of clearing. And all you need to do right here, right now, is just melt into the present moment. Sink into the here and now. A big part of this process for you, my friend, is just going to be about kindness. Being kind to yourself. Inviting self-compassion into this space. Really important. Thank you to everyone who's purchased my book. My book is all about developing a really solid self-love practice. Really harnessing and honing in on self-compassion. And it's a month of meditations. So meditation is, the Mayo Clinic even mentions this, the benefits that meditation has on anyone who's struggling with ADHD. So if that's you, maybe developing a meditation practice could be something that you try. I know it can be very challenging, especially if we are we're having issues with focus and we feel scattered. That's Gabor Mate's book, I think it's called Scattered Minds. But if you feel really scattered, and it can be really challenging, but I think developing a meditation practice, Gabor Mate also recommends meditation for ADHD, but it can be incredibly impactful. As hard as it is at the beginning, it helps us to develop present moment skills. Mindfulness helps us to practice presence and kind of seeing what's happening and what's floating through across the screen of our consciousness, so that we can then choose what we focus on and hone in on that. Anyway, thank you to everyone who's purchased my book. You have no idea how much it means to me. Here's my book. I'm so proud of it and I'm so excited for you to read it. Please let me know what you think. If you could give me a review on any of the, wherever you purchased the book, that would mean so much to me. So I love writing, and I wrote it for you, so it's such an honor for me to be able to do that. Anyway, meditation is really, really important. And self-compassion is really important. Sometimes when we are experiencing, when we have ADHD, we can experience shame. This could be processing moments from our past. This could be, past rumination on perceived failures, whether that's academic failures or work failures or relationship failures. And really learning how to rise up in self-love and really support and hold ourselves with this foundation of compassion is going to be so important. You're a human being, you make mistakes. We all make mistakes, The jig is up. No one's perfect. So, the Selenite Wand is just combing through, and it's almost like a little vacuum. Just pulling off any of that energy that you don't want, that's not serving you. So we did our clearing with the smoke, and now we're just doing a little bit more clearing with the Selenite Wand. Like hoovering it up. So we have this Palo Santo, natural coconut wax apothecary candle from hemlock bark. I purchased this recently because one of you was like, "Girl, I think it's time for you to get a new candle." So, yeah. I don't tend to buy new things unless the thing that I'm using is no longer serving. So, thank you for the reminder that I should probably stay more on top of it for you. But this is another crackly wood-wicked candle, so we'll test this one out. It smells nice. Sounds really nice. This would be a nice male cologne smell because it's very it has I guess it doesn't have to be gendered, any cologne, but I was just thinking this would be a nice one if my partner smelled like this because it's very clean. It has a very clean smell to it, but it's also got that grounding earthy smell. Some Palo Santo can smell really sweet because it's a sweet wood. This is nice, and that's a nice flicker too. Okay, hemlock bark. Okay, that's nice. What do you think? Okay. So try your best to just be aware of where your body is meeting the support beneath it. Maybe you're seated. So maybe it's your bottom. Maybe you're lying down. So your back and your legs. Just be aware of whatever is meeting the support beneath you. If you're standing, then the soles of your feet. It's almost like we're sending this attention, this brilliant light into that space that's making contact with our support. Emphasizing the connection to the earth, emphasizing these beautiful grounding properties. And so now from this very grounded place, my friend, I want you to connect with your heart space. So on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered, most aligned self, in loving comfort and a perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session for supporting you, helping you, healing you. If you struggle with ADHD, if you struggle with impulsivity, impulse regulation, if you really struggle with just, anything involving your impulses, really struggling with impulsivity or that little space between impulse and action, if that space feels very short, small, narrow for you, that little window where we have agency over what we do and say, my intention here is just to encourage that to open and expand so that we can develop this process of impulse moving through, then action or speech. And this can be a little complex because there are a vast array of different symptoms, causes. It's a challenging thing to be moving through. And there are different schools of thought about ADHD, causes and things like that. And I'm not a doctor, I'm a Reiki practitioner, so I can share with you what I think is helpful and supportive. And then we can move through balancing and aligning your energy body to really support your mind, your heart, help you build confidence in yourself, develop systems that can support you. Or hey, if you're just here because you watch all of my videos and this is a great time to set your intention for what you're moving through. This is going to be all about peace, peaceful mind, mindfulness, connection. So I think it should be a powerful session wherever you are in your journey. So feel free to use this flame to set your own intention here. And as long as that intention serves your own and everyone else's highest, wisest selves, then we'll honor that intention and see it through time and space to where and whenever it's applicable. I do like this candle, so I'll link this candle below. I always want to test it before I share it with you. But that sound is nice, right? Feel free to take as long as you'd like to set that intention. I'm just going to place that candle there. I have a few stones that I'd like to begin with here. I have a rose quartz and a rhodonite. And you might be thinking, oh, how do these apply to ADHD? Well, I think really developing that foundation of self-love is going to be important. I also think when we can reach out to people that we love, start to develop trust with people in our community, in our family, in our friend circle, but we can really share if we're struggling. I think that takes a lot of courage. And I think it takes this beautiful belief in universal love. And so I'm going to place this here, just so that our foundation of this practice is love. This external love that's coming in, and then the love that we have for ourselves, most importantly, that love that we have for ourselves. And now rhodonite. This is a wonderful stone for forgiveness and acceptance. And I think if we can accept things as they are, accept the way our minds work, how unique we are, how we process things, if we can accept ourselves like that, there can then develop a lightness, if we're open to it, to what we're experiencing. So I think that all stems from acceptance, and maybe, if it's necessary for you, forgiveness. Maybe forgiveness for past or perceived mistakes, forgiveness for any thoughts or negative thoughts you might have had about yourself. When we're when we live in a world that works in a very specific way and we feel isolated from that for whatever reason, it can really start to erode our sense of belonging and self-worth. But I think that's all a myth, because I think each and every one of us has something that we feel isolates us from the pack, especially those of us who are more aware. And so specifically with someone who has ADHD, commonality, Dr. Gabor-Mate was talking about how there's a genetic link between sensitivity and a whole range of different mental health issues, one of them being ADHD. And so that sensitivity gene, he calls it, is what potentially could mean that as a child, when you were experiencing trauma or when you were experiencing anything, you were hypersensitive to what was going on. And so you developed mechanisms to where it made it easier for you to cope. So one of the reasons that I like that is because it's very empowering. It's very empowering to know that you're not broken. This isn't something that you need to fix about yourself. This is just the way that you've adapted, and it was a very effective adaptation. So, it's helpful to just begin to accept yourself as you are fully and forgive yourself for any shame, for any negative beliefs that you've started to give attention to, indulge in about yourself. So I'm placing that stone there. It's not your fault. If anyone needs to hear that right now, it's not your fault. And you have the power to support yourself, develop systems that can help support you. So I have this piece of green talc, very soothing stone. This is a great stone for inviting in a peaceful mind, sense of inner calm. And it has a very loving, gentle quality to it. A lot of people are being diagnosed with ADHD these days. So if you are, maybe you've just received a diagnosis or something like that and you don't know what the steps are, it's really important to speak with a therapist, get help. That's so important and impactful, I think, for anything that we're struggling with, is just to speak to somebody. There are ADHD support groups. I'm not super familiar with them, but I've done a little bit of research, so I'll link what I have found down below. But if any of you have resources that you'd like to share, please share those in the comments. That would mean a lot to me. And you all are so great at supporting one another, so this is a safe space. I know you're all going to be so kind to one another in the comments. You always are. But yeah. We're just inviting a gentleness, a softening here. Sometimes when we experience ADHD, when we have ADHD, we have developed different mechanisms for coping with intolerable emotions or experiences. And our brains want to protect us from that, and so they distract us. So when something comes up or feel, it'll channel that in a different direction. So something that's helpful is to start to really affirm your own safety, that you're safe. Green talc is great because it's also connected to the heart space. So there's this natural, loving energy to this stone. And if there's any of you who have thoughts like, why can't I be like other people? Why can't I be normal? Thank goodness you're not. Thank goodness that everybody's unique. Thank goodness that we're not all the same. I'm not saying that you should be really grateful that you have ADHD. I'm just saying that we're all so different, you know? And there's a lot of beauty in that. So if there's any part of you that feels shame, do your best to acknowledge that shame and also send some love to yourself as well. Because if we're just focusing on the isolating nature of that shame without balancing it with some other things that are true, like how unique you are, creative, talented, special, how many things you can do that other people can't do. Focusing on all the brilliant things that if you develop some systems in your life, you could really harness all of this energy and use it as your superpower. You're not broken. It's not your fault. You're wonderful just as you are. I'm sending you so much love. And there's a community of love here to support you. That candle is nice though, right? It sounds good to me. I'm going to place this stone, this green talc right here. If you'd like me to make more videos about this subject, please let me know. Whether that's impulse regulation or the peace aspect here. This is a nice, gentle, loving energy in this space. Very calm and peaceful. Now, some of us might think that peace comes from controlling our environment and inviting things into our life that make us feel at ease, calm, serene. And while I do think that's very valuable work to be aware of the impact that our environment has on us, peace is really about developing an inner sense of calm, so that when we are in the eye of the storm, when we're surrounded by chaotic energy, there's something in here always that's unchanging, stable, and consistent that we can turn to. And that doesn't come from nothing. I think we really have to develop a practice of mindfulness and gratitude and moving through a lot of our past traumas and moving through a lot of, the blockages that we're experiencing. But it's a process of finding peace, finding a way to feel at ease and at home, even when there's a torrent of energy all around us. So now I want to invite in some rainbow fluorite. It's a wonderful stone for focus. So any stones that are about promoting peace, mental clarity, grounding, and love are stones that I would recommend for you. So stones like Smoky Quartz could be good. Maybe I'll grab a piece of Smoky Quartz and put that at your feet. Smoky Quartz would be great for that, balancing above and below, grounding you. Rhodonite, rose quartz, rhodochrosite. Those could all be great, loving, gentle stones. Green talc, or a lot of stones that have green in them, can support the heart center. Because I really want you to develop some self-compassion here. with this rainbow fluorite and stones that have to do with focus would be things like, and mental clarity would be fluorites. Any amethyst is great for that. Those are some really great stones that really promote focus, mental agility. I think that those would be great stones to work with. Howlite, celestite, angelite could all be great stones for promoting that inner peace. Okay, so I'm going to place this rainbow fluorite here. And I wanted to call in the properties of this stone for developing different systems that can support you and work with you. So there's a lot of research that's gone into what happens when we write things down. What happens to our minds, how we can process things better, more easily, simply by writing them down. So if you find that you're late to things, you struggle with schedule, you really have a hard time meeting and maintaining commitments, then I think it's really helpful to have just something in your back pocket, a little notebook or a planner. It's a little pen. I have a little pen that sticks onto my notebook, and it's a flat pen, so that way I don't have to worry about keeping track of several different things. It's just a small pen that I can stick inside my notebook, and it's flat, so it's not an extra step, and it doesn't make it bulky in my pocket. You just pull that out and you can write on it. So something like that would be fantastic. I'll see if I can find something like that and link that below. But that's a great way of just regularly connecting to your schedule. And we all need help when it comes to scheduling, But when we actually take the time to write those things down, sometimes we don't even need to reference it that often. It's just the process of writing it down that helps us kind of cement that in our minds, or at least it firms it in a little bit. So that's one helpful device that we can use. I'm going to grab my Smoky Quartz and then we'll talk about a few more. I'm going to use this polished Smoky Quartz. It's around stone, sort of a brownish gray, dark to light. And it has these little inclusions which give it kind of a celestial, cosmic sort of feel, which is great for things like clear quartz or smoky quartz. The quartz family, it's really fun to see those. Citrine usually has inclusions like that as well. It just feels like there's a small world captured within, like amber. So I'm going to place this down here. So that's really grounding you and supporting you. And balancing all of this work. Something else that can help is having a notebook by your bed at night. We've talked about this before here on this channel, but sometimes when our minds are racing or feel scattered, or it's hard for us to focus, or we're constantly kind of leapfrogging to different lily pads of thought, to-do list, I have to, then what can be helpful is just to do a regular brain dump session. And I think especially if you're feeling irritable, doing a brain dump then can be really helpful. And you might even start to engage in maybe a weekly or once every fortnight, doing some kind of a resentment journal. So Crappy Childhood Fairy has a YouTube channel, and she has courses and things like that, and she promotes a journaling technique that I think is based on the 12-step program, and it's all about recognizing the fears and resentments that you are currently fostering. So what are you afraid of, and what are you resentful of? Or who are you afraid of and who are you resentful of? And then once you've written those out, you're doing it in stream of consciousness. So you're writing, which is a very specific kind of criterion for, I am resentful of blank because I fear blank, because I fear blank, because I fear blank. And at first it'll feel like, with your linear mind, that it might be challenging for you to, or the linear part of our minds, to write in that stream of consciousness way. But once you understand the purpose of the practice, that the practice is just about seeing, when we see these things written down, we can start to recognize what it is that we are actually believing. Once we recognize that, then we can start to have agency over, oh, do I actually in my most aligned state believe that? Or is this just something that is infiltrating my mind? It's not actually something I actively believe in or wanna foster, support with my mental energy. So I think that's really helpful. And then the last part of it is just about calling in support from source energy, universal energy, from higher power, or from your higher self, to help you release that. And then gratitude. Spending some time really connecting to gratitude, which is part of my personal practice that is just life-changing. Writing down things I'm grateful for is such a wonderful practice. So maybe there's something like that could help you, particularly if you find yourself kind of caught in waves of irritability, or maybe even anger or rage, because we want to find a way to support what our bodies are trying to tell us, but also find a way to give our bodies what they need so that they're not in this constant state of dysregulation. So we can see the messages that our bodies are trying to tell us, minds, emotions are trying to tell us, and then start to feed ourselves the good stuff. Give ourselves more of what brings us alive, makes us feel safe, makes us feel grateful. And all of these things are processes, and sometimes it's really easy to want things to happen right away. But just know that as you do this work, it is paying off so much in manifold ways. Okay, my love. Let's shake this energy up a little bit, okay? I'm going to use my owl rattle. Very spiritually aligned, beautiful rattle. So we're going to be using this beautiful rattle to empower you, shake up your energy, help you feel safe and supported, and just seal in all this goodness from today, okay, my love? friend. You are divine. You are connected. You are expressive. You are loved. You are strong. You are creative and emotionally balanced. You are safe. You are so, so safe. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day or your night. Take really good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. I'll see you here again very, very soon. I upload every single Wednesday and Sunday. So until next time, be so well. Big hug.